The next two questions are based on alligation method. Again, very different type of calculation. Now, this is a calculation where you have been given two different concentrations, and you have to mix them and make a certain concentration. Okay. So again, whenever you are given any question in which you are given two concentrations, you have the solution or cream of two different concentrations, and you have to mix them and make some other concentration. You will use alligation method. Okay, so that's what we'll use here. So but have a look at the question first. You are required to make 500 grams of 35% liquid paraffin, so I have to make 35%. You have an ointment that contains 55% and an ointment that contains 15% liquid paraffin. So I have 15% and I have 55%, and I have to mix them to get 35%. One quick method to see that the alligation method is applicable is that the concentration which you have to make should be in between the two concentrations you are given. Okay? If it's like that, then you can easily apply alligation method. So again, you have to figure out, you have to check that the concentration which you have to make is in between the two concentrations which you are given. If it is like that, you can use alligation method. So here, is it like that? I have to make 35 out of 15 and 55. So that 35 is in between 15 and 55, right? So I can use alligation method. Does everybody understand that? Okay. Now the next question is that how much of this I need to mix with how much of this so that I get this. This is what alligation method will do. Okay. So that's how the alligation method works out. So I have to make, okay, so I have to make 35%. Okay, everybody pay attention, please. 35% I have to make. And I have to make from 55%, and I have to make from 15%. So I have been given 55% and I have been given 15%, and I have to make 35%, right? So 55 minus 35 is what? 20. And 15 minus 35 is 20, right? Make sure that you write the numbers at the right places, otherwise this alligation method will not work. So I write the concentration which I need in the middle, and the concentrations which I have, I write them here, and then just subtract them. Okay. Now once you have got this, now this is what I need. I need 20 grams of 55% ointment, liquid paraffin, and I need 20 grams of 15%. Okay. Once you have done the subtraction, go parallel. So I need 20 grams of 50%, I need 20 grams of 15%. And I mix them and I will get 35%. Everybody with me so far? Yes? No? Okay, now but when I mix them, I will get 40 grams, right? I take 20 grams of 55% and I take 20 grams of 15%. In the end, I will get 40 grams of 35%. Right? Okay, let's take some time to get this absorbed. Okay. So when I mix 20 grams of 55% and I mix 20 grams of 15%, I get 40 grams of 35%. But I have to make 500 grams of 35%. Okay, so we can just use same thing. So if I have to make 500 grams of 35%. Okay, now this is where it gets a bit complicated. I need 20 grams of 55% ointment when I have to make 40 grams. Okay, so 55% ointment, let's take with, again everybody, if I take 20 grams of 55%, I will end up with 40 grams of 35%, but I have to make 500 grams. So if for 40 grams I needed 20 grams, for 500 grams I would need how much? If I had to make 40 grams, I needed 20 grams, or 55%. But I'm making 500 grams of this final. 250. So that's for the 55%. Let's look at the 15% ointment. How much of that I would need? So if for 40 grams, I needed 20 grams. It's actually the same calculation as this. So for 500 milligrams, I would need 250 milligrams, 250 grams. Okay, everybody, look at this side first again. Look at this side first. When you use the actual allocation method, it gives you the different amount of the final cream. But you have to look at in the question what amount is needed. So once you get this figure, then you can work out this. So everybody with me? We'll go through another one, another example. Shall we move on? Okay. Another example of alligation ointment. You have an ointment that contains 55% of the ingredient. You have to make 15%. Sorry, you have a 55% and you have 15% and you're required to make 40%. Okay? So I have 15%, I have 55%, and I need to make 40%. Can we use alligation method here? Yes, because the required concentration is between the two given concentrations. So I have to make 40% from 55% and from 15%. Right? So the same alligation method, 55 minus 40 is 15, and 15 minus 40 is 25. So once I have done this, we go parallel. So that means I need 25 grams of 55% ointment, and I need 15 grams of 15%. But that will give us again 40 grams. That will give us 40 grams of 40% ointment. Right? So what would we do? But we need, really good look at in the question, we need 50 grams. So what do we do next? We know that, yeah, for every, we know that the amount we will need for every cream, 55% and 15%, but that will give us 40 grams. But we have to make 50 grams. Okay, so now for every cream, I will work out the quantity separately. So let's do it with for 55%. So for 55%, if for 40 grams, I needed 25 grams. So for 50 grams, I would need 25 divided by 40 times 50. 31.25. So this was for the 55% cream. And the same way I will work it out for the other cream, which was 15%. So for if 40 grams, I needed 40 grams, I needed how many grams? 15 grams. It's coming from here. So for 50 grams, I would need Okay, that's alligation method done.